The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's start this conversation. Let's start this conversation. We got no relation. I have come, all losing my control.
Hey, hello everybody, and sorry for the 10-minute delay, but we had like some kind of difficulties, with the internet and slow stuff, and I don't know, but we made it. We made it. I want to welcome everybody to Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. This is the Sunday night show from 8:10 to 10:10 p.m. I want to thank you, UPR and Talk Radio, for allowing me to give you 2 shows a week. Sunday and Tuesday nights. I mean, I'm so excited about my guest tonight. I'm stuttering with words. I'm stuttering. But I do want to thank you, PRN, for allowing me to do my shows for you. UPR and Talk Radio is out of 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans. Hey, Kevin, Mish, Sam, Tim, good to see you guys. I'm glad you all made it. KHR, Kenneth. And if I miss, I'm sorry if I miss everybody. But let's see. Well, guess what? So in Pennsylvania, last 2 or 3 days, it was in the 70s and the 80s. But guess what? It was in the 50s, and it's going down to the 30s. Hey, Squatch, man, it's going down to the 30s tonight, and it'll be the high 40s tomorrow. Welcome to Pennsylvania. That's all I can say. I have a great show tonight. I've been hearing and listening with this lady and her shows and just what she writes on Facebook and stuff like that. And I'm like really, really excited to hear what she has to say, especially about the ghost cats and the mountain lions, and then of course the cryptids. But Jean Tewksbury is an Eastern panther cryptid researcher and the founder of the Eastern Ghost Cat Research. She is the host of Ghost Cats and Cryptids on the Banter with Richie B podcast network. Her primary focus of research is the mountain lion sightings in Maine and other eastern states, where their big cats are considered extinct. Here in Pennsylvania, they're considered extinct, but they just had 2 sightings, and we're going to chat about that tonight. Collecting sightings reports and newspaper articles and speaking with eyewitnesses. Don't forget, ask questions, do what you got to do. Okay. Hard Felix says, love your streams. Hope to catch you live next time you stream. Add me. Okay. I'll do that. But without further ado, okay, my dear friend, guest tonight is Jean Tewksbury. Hello, Jean.
Hi, Sean. Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Jean says hello. Can you see the chat room, Jean?
No, I can't.
Well, you can. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. That's all right.
But, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
You look good.
The weather here is starting to get nice, but like in Pennsylvania, Maine is very unpredictable. The other day it was like 62. There we go. Now I can see some of the chats and stuff.
Okay.
Hi Mish Shelley. It was 62, beautiful, and then now it's like 40 something, and it's raining like crazy, and it just, you never know. You never
It's
ever ever know.
ridiculous, man. Hey, have you ever met the Maine cabin masters?
What's that?
Have you ever met the Maine cabin masters?
No.
You know that you never met them?
No, I've never met them.
Sherry Madigan, she's up from Nova Scotia. Good to see you. Hey, we talked about mooses the other day, Sherry. Yes, we did.
Yeah, and Nova Scotia is actually one that has mountain lion sightings too, and they keep saying that they're not there either. So,
what got you into mountain cats and ghost cats and stuff like that? I find it interesting.
I've always had a love of animals and a fascination. I mean, even back when I was a kid, I give that credit to Grizzly Adams. And I've always liked cougars and stuff. And in the state, I did not realize that they were considered extinct, that they were extirpated. There was not supposed to be any more here and stuff. But growing up in the mid-coast, you don't see a whole lot of wildlife. I mean, you've got coyotes, you've got, bobcats, raccoons, stuff like that, but you don't have any like bears, moose. And every now and then you'd get a story of like a moose walking down into, the area, or a bear or a mountain lion. So I didn't think anything of it. In 2015, I started working at the ICM and found out that mountain lions were considered extinct in the state, which I argued with the gentleman and said, no, they're not. And we went back and forth. He was right. I was wrong. But anyways,
That's
they
okay.
declare them extinct and remove them from the endangered species list in 2018. But in 2022 is when everything changed for me, because I had my own sighting of a juvenile in Cushing, Maine. And I literally almost hit it with my car because it came out of a marsh area by a culvert and was running up alongside of the road, right along the side of my passenger's front side of the car. And I'm literally trying not to hit it. It went up the road a ways and then jumped into the thickets. I stopped, turn around, come back down the hill, and there was a little place where you could kind of pull your car off to the side. And I got out looking for it to see if I could figure out where it went to. And didn't. I went home, grabbed my gear, came back to investigate the area more, and found the one track that it left in the dirt before it hit the road, and then just, was running up.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was from there, it was kind of like a no-brainer for me, because where they're considered extinct and there's not supposed to be a population of them, yet I'm seeing a juvenile, made me decide, you know what, I want to look more into this. And that's when I started reaching out to journalists, the former state biologist who had them declared extinct in the state in 2018. I've talked to my current biologist for my region and stuff. I've spoken to eyewitnesses. I have people, actually friends of mine on Facebook, that will send me, will alert me of like photos or people that I should talk to if they see anything on, somebody reporting one and stuff. So.
That's interesting. Hey, Gary, good to see you. There was a Brittany Crawford, man. She was getting a little too nasty with her comments, so I put her in timeout. So I wasn't going to listen. I don't play none of that games on my show. You know what I mean? I don't. I have a great chat, and I got a great show. I'm not being egotistical when I say that, but none of that is part of my show. Okay, so had to get that out. But I don't know. How did you know it was a juvenile? I mean, what is the size of a mountain lion?
An adult mountain lion is about 28 inches from the shoulder to the ground. This one, the reason that I said juvenile was because I estimated it to be 5 to 6 months old. I estimated around 30 pounds or so, because the thing was a thick little guy. It was a girl. It was a very thick one, but it was rusty brown and it had black spots. Now, normally you see that color and you would automatically say bobcat. But the thing that got me was it did not have the short bob tail. It had a long tail, and it was almost like a striped tail. It's weird how the patterns are, but it curved up around. And I tell you, that thing never hit the ground once. And when it left, I mean, you could see the thing. It was absolutely not a bobcat, but because of the size of it and the markings of it, that's why I said juvenile, because adult ones do not have the spots, because they're like a larger brown spot, and our black is what most people say, but it disappears usually by the time they're 9 months to a year old. They're gone.
Okay. Joe Fox, good to see you. Gary said his dad had an ocelot as a pet in Pittsburgh. Crazy, man. That's crazy. I wouldn't want no pet cats. I like cats, okay? In fact, I do have a question about black cats for you, especially ghost cats, a legitimate ghost cat. But
Ghost cats, it's not an action, it's not like a specific thing. It's a name, and it's one of the 40 names for a mountain lion. Mountain lions have 40 names. They have ghost cat, they have mountain lion, they have cougar, they have painter, they have American lion. I mean, the list goes on. There's over 40 names for this one cat.
Okay. But you're into the paranormal, correct?
Not really, no. I stick with like the animals and the cryptids, and the reason I say this, and everybody laughs at me, the paranormal kind of creeps me out, because at least with animals, whether it's Bigfoot or something else, I'm okay with being out in the woods by myself and being, this is awful to say, ripped to shreds by something that's 8 to 10 feet tall, than to actually deal with paranormal stuff that could follow me home and torture me for the rest of my life. It scares me. And
okay, it's understandable. I mean, totally. No, see, I'd rather go to a haunted house with the most demonic entity in the house, and instead of going out in the woods. I'm from the city, So.
Yeah, see, it's just vice versa.
Yeah, that's all there is. But no, I wanted to share this quick story with you. 2 days ago, my mom, this was in the daytime too. Okay. Our neighbors, she can see out the window. Okay. My mom, she's 87 years old, and she looks out the window all the time. And she said that she saw a big black something on my neighbor's car. Okay. With a long black tail, a real long black tail. And then my brother saw the exact same thing in our house, in front of his bedroom. So I just wanted to bring that out, that I don't know, ever since I asked you to be on the show, cats are coming out of everywhere, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. But
it is. I mean, I spoke to a woman, because I have a Facebook page called Ghost Cats and Cryptids, where I share information and like different, podcasts, like I shared this one tonight and stuff. I kind of let people use it as a platform to, share what they're going to be doing, but I also try to share information on it. And one woman had put in the comments, she goes, "Is this actually about ghost cats?" And she was talking about, paranormal entity type thing, and I was like, it's about, more or less mountain lions and stuff. But I reached out to her, and we actually had a nice phone conversation. She was telling me about this ghost cat, and it's like a house cat, although the one you're talking about is big. But I mean, she was talking about how, she could see it and then it's gone, and different stuff. Hey, Sam. And I found that very intriguing, because it's like, I had not heard many stories like that. And then for you to, say that your mother saw it, and then your, brother sees it in the house and stuff, that is not a normal thing, and stuff. And it's kind of like really intriguing, and on, what it could be, I mean, it's cat, but it's like, why is it one spot and then in another? And then it had to have disappeared somehow, because they didn't see it again.
And what's crazy though, I don't know, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I swear to gosh, we have like about 30 bunny rabbits that go in between all these yards. So, I mean, now I know there ain't no predator birds around, because all them bunnies are just like frolicking around in the grass and stuff like that. But it kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of blew me away. And my brother did ask me to ask you about it. So I do appreciate, what you said about it, and I'll just relay the message to him. But when you go out in the woods and you do your investigating, um, do you ever get the sense that the mountain lion is actually following you?
I don't get that. I do get sometimes uneasy feelings when I'm out doing my research. I don't know if it's so much that or if there's something else around. I do sometimes when I go out and I do my research. I actually have a friend of mine's daughter. She's now 10, but she was 9 then. She loves going out in the woods with me. And we have spooked bobcats, we have spooked coyotes, but we've never had, and that's just when I'm with her. I've been solo, and I get eerie feelings. She, when we're together, it's like we haven't had any issues except for spooking stuff. But I was always told by another gentleman that when I'm out there, though, it sounds really strange, but because these cats are predators and they sneak attack. Most big cats do sneak attack. They come from behind. Is to when you're out, like as I wear a hat a lot, they say put sunglasses on the back of your hat because it makes because the cats don't realize that you're actually back too. When they see the sunglasses, they think that you're staring at them and stuff. So I do that a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they do that in India. I wonder, yeah, in India, where they're like on the river or something like that, they do put mask on backwards, to deter the cat. Kevin says, I see my past cats often. I always say I have 3 physical cats and at least 6 from the past. And a few appear from the future as well.
And I believe that. I mean, like I said, when I was talking to the other woman there about her situation, the cat's not hers. She assumes that it was already there when they bought the place and stuff, but it appears, and it's just one of those things that she was like, at first she thought it was somebody else. She's like, we don't have any neighbors, so maybe it's just this feral cat or whatever. But then it would just disappear. And I mean, it disappeared in front of her a couple times. It's like it's there and then bam, it's gone. And it's hard when somebody's telling you this to be like, oh, because they know what they're seeing, and it's not, there's so many unexplained things out there that why is that so impossible to, think that could happen,
Exactly. But and do you do the sunglass method? Do you put it on the back?
I do. I do that when I'm out doing my research and I'm setting up camera traps and stuff. I also set out little tips because even though they're big cats, they're actually more like house cats than most people would believe. So really? I put out catnip. I put out regular catnip, and then I also do catnip spray on the plants and stuff too to kind of entice.
Now, when you put the catnip spray on by the way, excuse me, Sam, good to see you, hon. Sorry I didn't get to your name. Okay. That's Sam's pretty paranormal, who is a very, very awesome girl. Got a very awesome girl. But when you spray the plants do you put a camera up?
Yeah, I do. In certain areas, I put the cameras up. I catch a lot of turkey. I've caught bobcat. I've caught deer, different things like that. So far, I have not. I usually try really hard to keep up with any reports. It's been really low with any reports, or at least me getting any lately and stuff. But I also started a project where I've been working with eDNA and trying to do air filters where they can test for the vertebrae and stuff. And I'm hoping to actually up that to soil samples. So if there is a sighting and I can find tracks or something, I could actually do some soil samples.
Oh, awesome. Hey, Mark Eddie, good to see you, buddy. Now, you know how Richie goes out, him and Wojo go out, right? And they cast footprints. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you cast your prints?
Yeah, I actually, let's see if I can find it. Because I have a cast, but I can actually show you the picture. This was the juvenile one. I get on a poster board because I do talks and stuff. I don't know if you, that's the juvenile one that I casted from
Holy
my
crap.
sighting.
That paw's
And
huge.
actually, that's my hand, so it fits in the palm of my hand. But
Right.
yeah,
I can imagine what a full-grown adult would be. Ooh, that would be insane.
yeah,
But,
yeah. So I do cast and different stuff. I take photos, I record, you know, different things when I come across it and everything. And I actually have where I started 2 years ago. I started Eastern Ghost Cat Research. It was kind
how's
of a
that going? How's that going?
that's on Facebook. It's a private group, but it's a place where all I ask you to do is answer a few simple questions, which is, you know, will you be respectful? Do
Right.
you have an interest in the topic? And I want to make sure that everybody keeps it to that topic. I
Mhm.
don't want any spamming in it. So but it's one of these safe places where people can actually share their sightings. I also put down like different scientific document papers that I've done, like the university in Montreal did a big oh god, was it from 2000 to 2011? They put out sent scratch traps to try to collect any DNA of mountain lions from below the St. Lawrence River, because before that there was supposed to be no mountain lions below the St. Lawrence River, none in Lower Montreal, none in New Brunswick, none in Nova Scotia. So they sent them up in park areas and different places. By the time that they were done, they ended up with quite a few samples. After they got to the point where they had broken it down to multiple were the same cat, because when they were doing the testing, it came down to 9 specimens were of they came down with 19 of them, and they had to break them down into haplotypes, which is trying to figure out which ones are South American, which ones are North American. And 9 of those ones came back that they were of South American origin, which meant they were probably somebody's pet that was released into the wild, got too big, whatever. And the other ones, though, were actually of North American descendants. But the issue they had was there was no way to tell the difference between Eastern and Western. So because it's the same cat, that scientists love to use the term subspecies. You know, it's a subspecies. It's a, you know, there's, so it gets weird. But they're technically the same cat. Even Bruce S. Wright, who was a wildlife biologist in New Brunswick, he died in 1970s, but he wrote a couple books on the stuff. He's like, he goes, if you study cats out west, the behavior is going to be the same as it is, you know, here for them, because it's the same cat. It's just my opinion on the thing is if they are here, which I do believe they are here, and that's what I'm trying to prove, is if you have been hunted to the point of extinction, you've learned to stay away from what put you in that position in the first place, which is man. And a lot of these sightings that happen in my area, I'm not sure with other states, happen in wetlands, you know, marshes, bogs, different things like that. Areas they can get into a hell of a lot easier than we can, and we can't follow them, you know. And that's just, you know, my theory on it is I do think that they're, you know, they just know, and they know to stay away from us.
That and I appreciate what you just said, but we had a couple comments here in this section I would love to read out. Joe Fox says, and he's from Pennsylvania, Eastern, and he said there have been sporadic, unconfirmed incidents of mountain lions close to his area. I read about that, Joe. I did a little bit of research about mountain lions in Pennsylvania. You
look over my shoulder. See all those binders there? Most of those are actually sightings from Pennsylvania. I have got numerous sightings from over the years in Pennsylvania. Because Pennsylvania, New York, they are hot spots for it. They're also hot spots for the black ones as well. The people saying that they're seeing black. I have always stayed away from that because people like to use the term black panther, and it's technically not an actual term. I mean, it's just something that people use because once you have it, it's melanistic. It's a big cat, either a
Hmm.
jaguar or a leopard that has melanism. So far, scientists say that there's never been a cougar proven to confirm to have melanism, and they can't get it, which is a crock because any animal can get melanism,
Right.
even fish. I mean, I just was looking up something. There was a new species of manta rays that was the Atlantic manta ray. One of the scientists that was actually videoing one, it was a melanistic manta ray. It's a fish and it's jet black and it's not supposed to be, but it's
Right.
because it's melanistic.
Oh, really?
And a lot of times you're going to get, that's not what you saw, because it's a robotic answer. It's not what you saw, but there are a lot. I will say Pennsylvania has a lot of mountain lions and a lot of black cat sightings.
Wow, that's crazy. And I want to get back to that real quick, but Kevin, oh, real quick, my friend Sherry Madigan, she's from Newfoundland. Is there any sightings of big cats like in Newfoundland? Not Nova Scotia. She's in Newfoundland.
I honestly do not know. I honestly
Okay.
have no idea. I know in Nova Scotia there's sightings, New Brunswick there's sightings, and there was just a thing I just pulled up the other day from Nova Scotia saying, it's misidentifications and they're
No,
not
really.
here and blah blah blah. But I mean, the testing that was done proved that they got hair samples from Nova Scotia, they got it from New Brunswick, and they got it from Montreal, and they all kind of connect to Maine. You've got Upper New Hampshire, and I mean, there's other parts of Canada that say they don't have them either, like Ontario. On the eastern part, supposedly there isn't any. I know a gentleman who
Okay.
does the research for that as well. But there was just a big cat sighting in New York, which is not far from the Canadian border of where Ontario is, and that ring camera shows the cat is massive. Okay, it's
Right.
coming from somewhere.
Hmm. Yeah. So Kevin, I hope she answered your question there, buddy. He says he's from New Brunswick, and he said we have wolves, bears, eagles, why not lions, too. But you just answered it. Campbell. He's from New Brunswick, Campbellton.
Yeah, I used to live in Calais, which was right on the border of New Brunswick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who said this? This got to be Joe Fox. It has to be. Yes, it is. Joe, you're funny. I do have a fetish for cougars, Sean. Oh boy.
Oh, I see. I actually wore my other shirt. I do have a shirt that's got a picture of everyone on it, and then you're wearing it. It says "We're both cougars."
Yeah. Okay, we have Arrow Crusher. He says, I live in northeast Oklahoma. Bigfoot and little people are definitely here. I have had several encounters. Okay. Have you had any encounters with mountain lions, my friend? Okay. And Joni goes, what is your opinion about people keeping and raising exotic cats?
I don't agree with it. The thing is I had during COVID, there was an article that came out of New York, because in New York City, there was a 6-month-old cougar cub that was pulled from an apartment. There was also a tiger pulled from a Long Island apartment and an alligator pulled from somebody. This was all in New York during 2020, because people had these exotic pets that they weren't supposed to have. And yeah, I mean, when you've got a mountain lion cub that's 6 months old living in an apartment in New York, that's not a good thing to begin
No,
with.
not at all. That's ridiculous. But
And I mean,
listen,
I understand that, people want exotic pets, and back in the 70s, it wasn't that big of a deal. But nowadays, it's just with the amount of people and just the way that the world is, I don't think it's very smart. I did sit down with my state biologist because we were discussing the sightings, because he does not agree with me. I don't agree with him, but we had a respectful conversation. He did
ain't
tell me
that great? That is
he did
great.
tell me that I'm doing good work and to keep him posted. And the reason that he wanted to do that was because I had newspaper articles that he didn't have, and he asked if I would be willing to share. Like in 1995, there was a mountain lion sighting in Cape Elizabeth, which is right directly on the coast near Portland, Maine, which is a big city. When they went out, they actually found hair samples, had them tested, and they came back conclusive that they were cougar DNA.
Oh, wow.
So they assumed that it was probably somebody's pet. So while we were sitting talking, I said, honestly, I want to know, because I go out and I do this stuff. So if somebody reports seeing a mountain lion, you know, I want to make sure that I'm not checking out somebody's pet. You know what I mean? And he said there's 4 people in the state that have them as pets right now.
Oh, wow.
And this was 2 years ago that we had this conversation. And I said, well, I saw a video where you said you actually had to seize, because I'd never come across anybody having them illegally in the state and any ones having to be seized. But he did a video where he was deputizing everybody to, you know, report sightings of mountain lions. And this was back in the 1990s when I saw this. And so we were sitting down talking, and I was like, so it says you, because I can't find anything on it. And he said, no, I need to fix this. He says, I need to straighten that out. He goes, it wasn't part of a seize. He goes, what it was a woman had gotten one as a pet. She did not have her facility set up yet. So they had a local sanctuary. They asked the local sanctuary to take the cub in. And so they did. And when she had everything set, you know, and was able to go get it, the sanctuary would not give her back her cat.
What?
So she had to bring in the warden department, and the state biologist had to go in, and they had to literally physically remove the cat from the sanctuary because they were trying to keep it when it wasn't theirs. It was actually hers.
I'll be damned.
And so she got it, you know, she got it back and stuff. But I was like, I just want to know, because, you know, when I'm doing reports, and I'm going to say this straight up, you know, you're driving 55 miles an hour or 45 miles an hour down a road, you know, if people drive like maniacs. But I mean, we're kind of rural, so there's not a ton of traffic unless you're on like the major highway. Okay.
Right.
But if you're driving and stuff and you see one, and it could be in somebody's, you know, out, it seems like it's a ways out and stuff, but there could be a fence around it because it's actually somebody's pet. But you're not going to see that fence because you're driving. You're just seeing this big cat and trying to figure out what you're seeing. And I was trying to make sure that when I'm looking into these things, I'm not actually checking out somebody's pet, you know.
Right, exactly.
And he goes, no, there's 4. And then I know that in 2023, the U.S. government passed the bill of the big cat law, which means it's banned now to purchase any big cats as pets.
Okay, that
they
sounds
have
good.
a grandfather law, so if you already have one, you're set. But anything new, so we were sitting down, and I said, well, you know, I said, well, what if I decided I wanted one? And he said, as long as you get the paperwork set up, you cross all your, you know, T's, dot all your I's, you can have one. And I said, how is that even possible when they put the big cat law in effect? But I can still get one if I want. I don't want one, but
right, no. That'd take up most of your time. But listen, we are at the 30-minute mark, and everybody knows that it's time to take a 2-minute break. So go out and pee, smoke a cigarette, get a coffee, do what you have to do, and we'll see you back in about 2 minutes.
Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
everybody. Welcome back to Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. My guest, Jean Tewksbury, who goes and investigates big cats and, the ghost cat. And she explained the ghost cat was cats that they're not ghosts. They're not ghost cats, okay? Like shadow cat ghosts. No. What they are is mountain lions. And I guess the biologist or I don't know. I had the word on the tip of my tongue, but I lost it. But I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi. It's the other way around, guys. But for allowing me to give you 2 shows a week, Sunday night and Tuesday nights. So, Jean, welcome back. I'm glad you made it. Sam says, "Oh my God, I would be scared to have them as pets." And Kurt, you know Kurt, right? I always watch people that raise tigers, and holy crap, they buy like full or half cows at a clip just for feeding. Oh my gosh, they must be rich.
I mean, there's 2 people on social media or on Instagram. They're probably on Twitter too. I know they're on Facebook, but there's one called I Am Misha, and that's a guy who has a mountain lion as a pet. And that cat is literally, it's amazing. I mean, the cat like sleeps in the bed and everything, and then there's Luna, which is Luna is I believe a melanistic leopard, but her and she was raised with a Rottweiler, and they're best friends. They play out in the woods together, and I mean, cool. It makes it look cute, but yeah, it's
no. So this Arrow Crusher says mountain lions along the undeveloped parts of the Arkansas River in Oklahoma. He says he's probably 30 miles from where the unexplained attack happened in Blanco, Oklahoma. Have you heard about that attack?
I have, and I do not think that that's a big cat.
Okay.
And the only reason that I say that is I've read the thing, and the attack is brutal. It really is. But for a big cat, they go for the throat. That's what they go for. They go for it with deer. They go for it with everything. They just automatically go for the throat area.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so I thought they just like rip them to shreds. They suffocate them first, right?
They suffocate them first.
And then they rip them to shreds, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sam says the closest I will get to a bigger cat is maybe a Bengal. LOL.
Actually, Savannahs are big too. If you've ever seen a Savannah cat,
no,
you can walk those on a leash.
No. So I was reading a little bit about the Pennsylvania mountain lion, and I'm telling you what. Now there have been sightings. Joe said he felt that there were some sightings where he lived. He lives out of East Pennsylvania, but our field. That's right. The field people, the cops that go out in the forest and all that, the field people, and the biologists here in Pennsylvania state that the last big cat was killed in like 1847. And there are no mountain lions here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and, that's what they'll tell you. But
why? Why is it that they have to lie?
I don't have the answer for it. I've asked 50 million times on what changed when they were, removed from the endangered species list. What would change if they were put back? I can't get a straight answer, so I can't answer that because I don't know. My thing is what when it comes down to that, when they say that, and I was sitting down with my biologist. I mean, and like I said, we agreed to disagree.
Right.
I did get insulted a couple times. I took it well. I did get a little argument, but we agreed to disagree, and we kept it as, he was happy with me. I was happy with him at the end of it. It was all good. But my thing is when you talk about, finally they'll be like, no, it's a misidentification. No, I'm not going to argue with somebody that, if they say they've seen it, whatever. But I also found out that when you report them, they said, I was told not to report them to the warden's office, because the warden's office, the wardens are more like, out there for the hunting laws, not to check on this stuff. Right. It's a biologist you need to get in touch with. I was also told, though, that if you cannot pinpoint that exact area, they're not going to look for it, because, I mean, some roads are, 50 miles long. They're not going to go out and look for a needle in a haystack. And the other thing was, though, is when you talk to them, after a while, they'll just finally go, well, it could be in transit. Okay,
Mhm.
well, transit, it came from somewhere. Okay, it came out of New Hampshire. It came from somewhere. Okay, and so you can't say that these states don't have them when, you know, people are seeing them and you're saying, oh, it's in transit. Yes, I know that the one in South Dakota traveled all the way to Connecticut before it got hit. You know, it was a year and a
Right.
half that it traveled to get to that point before it got hit. But it's like, if people are seeing these things and you're saying, oh, it could just be in transit, then you know that there's something going on here, you know.
Right. It's
And
like they're
then you'll get
moving
to the
over
point
toward
where
us.
this is where they come down to their final decision is, yeah, you know, there's possible sightings, but there is no breeding population. That's what they go by. There's no breeding
No
population.
breed. Okay. Well, you know what? Somebody's going to be watching this show tonight, and they're going to get a mountain lion from out there out west, right? And then they're going to bring it over here to the east and find the female male, and then they'll be breeding. And then we'll have all kinds of mountain lions out in the woods.
Well, it was
You
like
know,
when I
and
saw the one that I saw, you know, I talked to the former state biologist and he goes, it was probably a released pet. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You know, so I mean, and he's like, no. He said, somebody in Ohio probably bought it, didn't want it, and they drove all the way. I'm like, really? Because you've got Pennsylvania, you got New York, you've got Vermont, you've got other places with lush forest areas you could have dropped this cat off in.
right.
Yeah. I said, it's not impossible, but to me, it's implausible. You know, it's very unlikely. And then when I talked to my current one and I had explained what the former one said, he goes, no, he goes, it wouldn't happen. He says, because those things are worth a lot of money. Nobody's just going to dump it away because somebody will buy that. And I looked into it and I looked online and they actually had mountain lion cubs for sale. They were like $2,300.
Holy crap, man. That's a lot of money. Kevin, he goes, how would they even know? Did they see under every bush, rock, and cave? How would they know?
Okay, that's the other thing, okay, is I learned a lot from Bruce S. Wright, even though I've never met him, but going through his books and stuff, and I ended up becoming a member of the Mountain Lion Foundation. I follow the Olympic group, which is the Panther group, and stuff, and I get all kinds of information. I follow Beth Pratt, who does the hashtag Save the LA Cougars. So I get a lot of behavioral things. And then, you know, you see stuff in Wyoming. Casey Anderson has a lot of stuff. He's very good at the stuff. So, you know, I'm learning and going across and stuff. So when I was sitting down with my state biologist, he's like, there's no way they could be here. We couldn't have a population. We don't have enough caves. They don't need caves. The first thing that I have learned about mountain lions, and it hasn't been from anybody else, is just if you read up on the topic itself, they are the most adaptable animal in the world. Okay. They can live in the subtropics of the rainforest. They can live in deserts. They can live in forest areas. They can live in wetlands. They can live in the Arctics of Alberta. They adapt anywhere they go. And most of the time their bedding is not caves. It's turned over trees, just like bears will do. You know, you get those high roots and it makes a nice little den. They'll use those. They'll use thickets. They'll use thick brush. They'll use anything. And I was more or less told I was an idiot, but you know.
Well, I can't. Oh, that dude who ever called you an idiot, man, they're crazy, man. Like just talking to you right now, I'm feeling that awesome energy coming off. I'd take you down a dark alley and say, okay, here she is. She'll take care of you. That's my bodyguard right there, you know. But no, and I'm glad that you are very passionate about the cats. I really am. I mean, there's not, from what I have seen, and I'm going to go paranormal, ghost.
That's okay. Go right ahead. I'm all for it.
What somebody as passionate as you, I have not seen around. You know what I mean? In the other. Oh, okay. Sam says that's right. This is typed in caps. I'll bring it up so you can see it. That's right. That's the legend right there. Of course she's a legend. Sam, you're a legend too, buddy. Everybody. Here, to me now, I'm going to settle this right here now. everybody's a legend in their own right mind. Everybody's a
See,
legend.
I get called that. Richie started calling me that, and I said, "Dude, I'm a legend in your mind only." Because I don't like when you ask for a bio. I don't like talking about myself.
Right.
Now, talking about this subject, I'm great at, but I don't like talking about myself because I feel like I'm bragging, and I don't like to do that. I'm not comfortable with that. Give me a topic though like this, and I'll talk your ear off.
Okay, and that's okay. I'm glad you can talk my ear off anytime. Seriously, I'm enjoying our conversation. But I'm like you. I don't like um, I don't like to broadcast myself.
No.
Hey, Kason, good to see you. I mean, for me, honestly, I'm very well known in the paranormal field here in the East Coast and Pennsylvania and stuff. And I don't like it when people they put me on a pedestal, and I don't like that. You know what I mean? It's just like, don't do that to me. I'm like you. I just want to be laid back,
Yeah, I don't like
sit
to be
behind the
called an
scenes.
expert. I'm not. I'm knowledgeable on the subject, but I am definitely not an expert.
Nah, but so, I just lost my train of thought here. That
Sorry.
happened. Oh, listen, don't be sorry. I mean, that happens a lot. But I find, I find it very, very interesting um, about the caps. And I always wondered, because I do go out in the woods because I like to prospect gold. Okay. I do like to prospect gold. And I'm usually out by the creeks and by the rivers. Okay. But I'm pretty close to like a road or a bridge or something like that. I know it wouldn't mean a difference, but sometimes I'm out there and I feel like these eyes are upon me you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. It could be a Bigfoot. It could be the little people. It could be a cat, whatever. You know what I mean? But to me, I find this subject very, very interesting because all I see are pictures and stories coming from out west. And I was going to ask you that question. Would they move over here to the East Coast?
They could. I mean, they're in transit. I mean, when it comes to males, their territories are up to 150 miles. Okay.
Okay.
They can be anywhere from 25 to 150-mile radius. And usually within that, the females have a 50 to 75. And there could be like, a couple females, but it's only one male. So if, you have one that's come of age and it's been weaned and mom kicks it out, it's got to try to find an area where another male's not at. Now they do have hunting seasons in a lot of the states and stuff to kind of keep the populations down. But like in South Dakota, that one that was a year and a half old, started moving, went in transit. It went to Illinois. It went here, it went there, ended up in Greenwich, Connecticut. So yes, they can move this way. I cannot remember. I think it was Nebraska. There's one of the states that recently has had a few sightings and stuff. And Michigan just declared that they actually have a breeding population now. They were always in denial. And somebody actually was driving and caught it on their camera on their car of a mom and babies. And so they have finally declared the fact that there are cougars in Michigan again in the Upper Peninsula.
So they are definitely moving their way over.
Yeah.
Which I think is great because I love animals myself. In fact, if you would like to, after like right before the show, maybe you see me, I pull cards, okay, for animal cards. And that would be crazy if I pulled a cat, wouldn't it? Then my boy Joe Fox is in there. So you've seen him before. But let's see where are we at? Okay, we got 10 minutes and then we're going to do another break. And that will be the last break. And then we're going to segue into the cryptids.
Yes.
That's the biggie. But I don't know. I'm just intrigued with what we have chatted about. Is there anybody out there in the chat room that has a question for Miss Jean? Anybody? Sam, I'm sure you have a question. Joe, you like cougars. Sure. Kurt, how about you, buddy? Brian? I don't know. I really don't know what else to say. Is there anything that you can talk about the big cast that we did not, you know, talked about? Is there anything for about 9 minutes?
Well, I like to when I do the talks and stuff, I like to kind of go over, because with
Hey,
these big
D.
cats and people discussing the sightings and stuff, there's a lot of panic from some people. Yes, a puma it's one of the 40 names. It's puma, panther, mountain lion, ghost cat, painter. So there, like I said, there's like 40 names for this one cat. But I always try to, because I find that education is key, knowledge is key. With these big cats, yes, you need to respect them. They are a wild animal, but you also have to realize too that their behavior is they don't just attack. They don't just, there's usually when there's an attack, there's a reason for it. Most of the time they will skedaddle and you don't even know they're there. Half the time, and like when you're out by yourself, you said you go out a lot by yourself. I've learned when I go out by myself to look up, because a lot of times they spend most of their time up in trees. So
Really?
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
They spend a lot.
really?
Actually, in Oakland, I just shared a thing too. Oakland, somebody at the news had posted, mountain lion gets stuck in tree. No, the mountain lion wasn't stuck in the tree. The mountain lion climbed the tree to take a nap, and somebody saw it. And then next thing you know, you've got crowds of people with little kids all taking pictures around this tree with this mountain lion up in it. There was a little girl interviewed. She goes, "It's my pet. I'm naming it Noodle," which was cute. But the fire department had to come in and move people away and tape it off, and because it wouldn't come down. It was scared, is what it was. It wasn't going to come down with all those people there and stuff. So they said it was stuck. It wasn't. It was safer in the tree than it was coming down. As soon as they cleared out the area and taped it off, the thing left.
Uh-huh.
And
Wow.
that's the thing, is they try to avoid people as much as possible.
Mhm.
And yes, they are big, they are scary, but if you have a respect, you don't have to worry. The time that I worry when I'm out is if I come across a baby, because it's the same thing with a bear. Anything that's
Mhm.
any babies, mom is going to be there, and mom is
You
going to
know it.
That's
Yeah.
my big fear. The other one
Sam,
is what?
oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sam has a question for you. What are
Yeah.
the chances I could come across one here in North Carolina?
There are sightings in North Carolina.
And D Hoot says, does my house cat share DNA genetics from big cats?
I don't know. That if I don't know, I'm going to tell you I don't know. I don't think so. They're similar, but I don't think that they share the DNA.
And Joni says, this show was really interesting. Thanks, Gene, for coming on the show. Joni, we got another hour. Better hang around, buddy.
Thank you.
And my friend Kaysen wanted to know, and we're going to talk about this right after the break, Kaysen. He says, do you know about any Asian cryptids?
Yeah.
I don't, but I don't know, buddy. She's I don't know. Might have to look that up sometime. Maybe Kaysen, we can have a show on that. Now see, right now Kaysen, he's just waking up because it's like in the morning for him, But so yeah. So okay, so I'm out gold prospecting. Okay. And I happen to see one or hear one. What is the thing I should do to protect
You should
myself?
not run. Okay.
Okay.
You should look at it. You should make yourself bigger. Get loud if you have to. And if you want to remove yourself, slowly back away, but do not run, because that is the number one no is running. You just make yourself look bigger. You try to scare it. Because if it's not coming at you, if it growls or whatever, it's a warning, thing. The times that I worry when it comes to attacks on people is when you've got an older one that can't hunt properly. And they will attack what's ever easier. If they don't have to chase after a deer and they can't do it because of their health, they will go for the easiest thing, which is usually cats, dogs,
Right.
occasional person. And then, you know, the ones that are weaned, that the like I said, I was saying earlier, and the young ones that mama just says, you know what, get lost. I can't do this anymore. It kicks them out, and they haven't been taught how to hunt properly. They will do the same thing. They go for what's ever easier, because they don't know any better. That right there is an issue. And that can be a problem. But those are usually the only times that I worry about stuff when it comes to the big cats.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're out there, just make sure that you have, and the best, I don't know if you can carry bear spray with you or not when you're out, but that would be a bad thing to get up, is a little bottle of bear spray, because that will work on them too. You know, get loud stuff and you don't know, just hit that.
Oh, wow. And I'm a pretty big boy myself, you know, so I can make myself bigger, you know, and I do yell pretty loud. And
yeah, as long as you can do that, it should be enough to scare it.
But I am not going to go out in the woods and try that, you know, out. You know, I'm not. But and this is it before we go to break. Last question: why is Pennsylvania so big, like in Bigfoot, but with the mountain lions? Why is Pennsylvania so popular with mountain lions?
I honestly don't know, but from what I've seen with Pennsylvania and stuff, I mean, your northern part of Pennsylvania, Eastern and stuff, there's a lot of plentiful wooded area. I mean, it's not, you know, built up so much. And I mean, it's easy access for any animal to really hide if they want to.
Right. I mean, have you ever seen the state of Pennsylvania? It is beautiful, man. The state
I have
of
been
Pennsylvania.
to well, I've seen parts of it, because I was in New Jersey at one point, New York. It was kind of like a border. You get Pennsylvania and stuff in there. And where I was at, it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, it was all forest area. I wouldn't have even, you know, I was surprised at anything. Then I've been to more of the northern part on the other side, still in New York, because I had made a couple trips to Hornell and stuff. And it's like 90 miles from Erie, Pennsylvania, and you know, going down that way, I mean, it's just beautiful. It's just all nice farmland, you know, wooden areas and stuff, wood areas and stuff. It's great, and it's a great area for a big cat, a Bigfoot, or any other cryptid to, you know, keep itself pretty well elusive.
There's a lot of those flying ones. I don't know. I'm just like not thinking. You know, the ones that fly. You know.
Yeah,
they look like pterodactyls.
The thunderbirds.
But there's a lot around here. There's a lot of thunderbirds here.
Yeah, we had that discussion earlier with thunderbirds, and somebody was saying something in Mass, and I said they're in Maine. They're everywhere. They really are. The thunderbird sightings are all over.
Maybe a little town called Murraysville up the road, and you know, my ex-girlfriend, she saw it. Was like. It's a woof, woof. Down in Trimway, Ohio, too. We were down there ghost hunting at a Prospect Place. And one afternoon, we're just sitting there. And all of a sudden, you just seen this big thing, you know, fly over our heads. Oh, it's a turkey vulture. I don't think it was a turkey vulture. It was something different. No. But listen, we are at the 60-minute mark, everybody. We're going to go. We're going to take a couple-minute break. And we're going to get into the cryptids. And what do you think of the Mothman?
Mothman creeps me out.
Okay, I have a story behind it, and it's going to blow you away.
Okay.
But on that note, see you guys back in about 2 or 3 minutes. Go make a pee, get a cigarette, get a coffee, and we'll see you right back here.
Two real cryptid legends
doing what they do, bringing information for me and you. Ron Moorhead and his Sierra Sounds, Daryl Denton, the Tennessee Bigfoot Man, along with Michelle Desrochers, bring adventures across this land. So much information brought to you each week, actively out there looking as the truth they seek.
Hey everybody, welcome back to that was the last break. We're going to go all the way up for the next hour here because we're talking about cryptids. I got my dear friend Gene Tewksbury here with me. We just got done talking about mountain lions, and if anybody missed that part of the hour, please feel free. Just go to UFO Paranormal Radio, and check out the YouTube channel. The show will be on there. You can go to my Facebook page, and the show will be there too. And it's everywhere, so y'all can find it. Again, real quick, I want to thank you, PRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans. Great show, Joe Fox says. And thank you, buddy. Just hang around for the other hour because I'm going to be pulling a card at the end of the show. So Joe is like my secretary, and what he does is when I pull the card, okay, he goes and finds a spiritual meaning about it. But for some reason, I don't know, we might get a cat. That would be crazy. Okay, so cryptid time. Okay, what do you like about cryptids? Hey Kara, what do you like about the cryptids?
I like the not knowing the mystery, and just trying to see if there's something. I mean, we know that there's so much out there we don't already know, so it's kind of like the adventure,
Okay, so
figure it out.
Let me ask you this: when you're out there doing your researching for the cats, do you hear Bigfoot?
I look for anything that happens to come across that might be Bigfoot. Last time I was out looking for my big cats, I actually came across what looked to be some type of track, and I took measurements, I took photos, and then I sent them to Wojo for him to give me his opinion on them,
And
on
what
what
did
it
he say?
was.
What did he say? The
He
Bigfoot?
said it looked like a print to him just because of the way it was, but it was very hard because the ground was like not quite soft enough. It was still solid, but it was kind of like getting softer. So you get like this print. It was different. It looked like a huge print to me, but I wanted his verification on it. And the way he was looking at it and he was describing it to me, he's like, "You've got this here, and I see this here." He said, and yeah, so. I wasn't anything I could cast because of the way that the ground was, but
Right,
it was
right.
interesting. And I'm always looking for, just different stuff. So.
Now, when you go out in the woods, real quick to the cats, do they follow a trail or do they just go wherever they want? Because I know Bigfoot follow trails.
With their I mean, sure they follow trails, but they do what they want. I mean,
Okay.
it's hard to say because where they're very elusive, it's hard to pinpoint and study exactly their behavior.
Interesting. So, out of all the cryptids, what's your favorite?
Sasquatch. I mean, that's what my
Sasquatch?
favorite was from the beginning. I was 7 years old when I got hooked on Sasquatch.
How'd you get hooked on Sasquatch?
I saw it was kind of like a little documentary movie, Sasquatch, The Legend of Bigfoot. My mom was watching it, and I saw the Patterson-Gimlin footage at the beginning of it, and I saw like them getting all geared up to do this expedition, and I thought it was so cool because, like I said, I loved animals, and just seeing the variety of what they went through, trying to get to this spot and find the Sasquatch. Granted, I mean, like I said, it was a movie, but it did show the Patterson-Gimlin footage, and just watching what they were going through, and then the end. It was one of those things of, this is really kind of cool. What if this is out there, And then I started reading up on stuff, and I was 9 at the time, and I found actually in our school library, we had John Green's casebook, Bigfoot casebook. So I got the stories of Albert Ostman. I got Ruby Creek, Ape Canyon, a bunch of other ones that were all in there. And I was reading it, and I was just completely and utterly like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And yeah, so it just kind of snowballed from there.
Before we went into, before we get into the other one that I want to talk about, what would you do if you saw Bigfoot?
Honestly, I have no idea. Everybody has poked fun of me about it because they're like, oh my God, I'm going to see you stand there and you're going to be like waving, hey, get over here. I said, I don't think so. Because when you're out there and you're looking, it's like, what you're looking for, whether or not you find it is another thing. And if I did find it and I'm looking at something that's, 6 to 8 feet tall, that's hairy and just unpredictable, I literally think I would probably freeze and not know what to do. I mean, it's hard to say. I don't think I'm going to be overly excited. I think I'm probably going to be more in shock and frozen, if I actually did see one.
Sam says you're going to just say what the hell?
Yeah. I did that. We had a rock thrown at us, and that was my response. So that's the key phrase now for my research is, what the hell?
At least the rock didn't hit you. But
no, it hit the water, and it did.
Oh.
It was out of nowhere. We had this rock hit the water, and the water splash up was amazing. And all I could do was go, "What the hell?" And of course, they get it because I scream it out. And so now it's like a standing joke. And my research.
So that's cool. I know. Back in 2012, I produced a TV show called Paranormal Pittsburgh, and we were filming up in Gettysburg, and so we were allowed in going up Culp's Hill. No lie, a big rock was thrown at us from the woods. Okay, and I don't think ghosts can actually pick up a big rock and throw it at you. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that scared the crap out of us. And I mean, like I said, I can like go to the most demonic place in the world and have no problem going in. But when something throws a rock at my ass, you know, I'm like, all right, let's go. It's fine. Kevin pulled the snake, the peacock, and the beaver. Thank you very much, buddy. Um, I'm going to have to look those up and see what the meeting is. See, my friend Kevin here, um, he pulls cards for me because I pull cards for people. You know what I mean? So thank you, buddy. But let's talk a little bit about the Thunderbirds. What's your logic behind them, and have you seen any?
All I know is like the native lore for them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I haven't told too many people, but yes, I have had a sighting.
Okay. And
Um,
was it close to your home? Was it
it was actually
anywhere?
I was headed out my back door. I have a big porch, and we have a clothesline that goes from the house all the way down to the tree out back. So we have a big backyard, and
Mm-hmm.
I was headed out to hang some laundry out, and I step out, and all of a sudden, I mean, it was bright sunny day, and all of a sudden everything went black, and I look up, and there is a massive bird, and I mean, and like, you know, I've got turkey vultures, okay, but it's not going to block the sun in my
Right.
entire porch and stuff. And I was like flabbergasted going, okay, did I just see what I think I saw? And
Mm-hmm.
then the next day I was driving, and I live on like back roads, and I was
Right.
driving on the one that's just next to my house, and there's like a little marsh area with a lot of dead trees in it and stuff. And I happened to look out, and I mean, because this was like 20 years ago, and I didn't have a cell phone at the time, so it kind of sucked. But I saw this big black figure just literally sitting on one of the dead trees in the middle of this thing. And I mean, it was massive, and it was just sitting there. And
Mm-hmm.
my daughter saw it with me and stuff, but we had no idea what we were looking at. And then later on that day, we had to go back by, and it was gone. And it was like, I was so hoping, it was like, I really wished at the time that I had had a camera or something to take a photo of this, because it
Right.
was around the same time as my sighting. And then about 10, 15 years after that, I was working a job, and I had a couple people come in, and they lived just like the next town over in Nobleboro, and they were discussing how they had seen this massive black bird. And it was around the same time I had my sighting, you know, back when I had mine. And I was like in my head, you know, and the woman was just, she goes, I just feel crazy. She goes, but I know what I saw. And she goes, this thing. And it was just insane. Yeah. So I
Interesting
have,
story. Interesting. I'm
yeah.
glad. Thank you for sharing that. I truly appreciate that. Now, I've been podcasting for 6 years now, and my friend who started, Jenny Nicasio, she does Chasing Prophecy, but she kind of retired a little bit. But me and her would debate all the time. She believes that the cryptids that are out there, like Bigfoot, um, the Wolfman, the Wolf Dog, or the Dog Man, and others were actually rejects of the government doing experiments. And we're not going to get political here, everybody. I just want to bring this up, and I want to get Jean's point of view, what she thinks about could they be government rejects that started, you know, all the cryptid sightings that we see.
Honestly, I don't know on that, but I find that interesting that you brought that up, because I don't know if you've read the book Chupacabra Road Trip.
Mm-mm.
It's about the chupacabra sightings in Puerto Rico, like the beginnings of it and stuff. But in there is a section where they discuss that thylacines were brought in back in the day into a military research laboratory down there. And a lot of people wonder if that was an experiment gone wrong. I can't say that that's what happened or with any of them, but it just, some of them, it just kind of makes you wonder.
Right. And I, and see, to me, she believes that it was, and to me, I don't believe that it was. Okay. I look at the stuff that they're finding down in the deep seas. They're finding different types of species to this day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And God knows what the hell is out there. You know what I mean? I mean, Pennsylvania, New York, Maine. I watch the Maine Cabin Masters, and so it's like God only knows what's out there. And do I think that's a question? Do I think it's scary? I don't. What's your feeling on that?
I don't think that it's an
Knowing
experiment.
that,
I don't. I think that these things are flesh and blood. I do not think that there are some experiment gone wrong. Like I've said before, there's a lot out there we don't know, and I just think that this is one of the things that they are, and we're trying to figure it out. But I do not think it's an experiment gone wrong. That's just my thoughts.
and that's okay. And I appreciate you expressing your thought. I really do. Now, my friend, I don't know if you know her, Donna Copus. She is from Ohio, and she's part Shawnee, and she always tells the story how her and I think two other women were out, just going through the woods, and they actually saw a real tall thing that had hair all over it in the face of a dog. The dog, her dogman experience,
Yeah.
And if they're close to Ohio, because Pennsylvania is really close to Ohio. I mean, like not even 2 hours away is Trimway, Ohio, Dresden, Ohio, and there's a ton of Bigfoot sightings down in Dresden, Ohio. So I don't know why I said that, but I did. I guess I get into the cryptids. I really do, and it's nice to talk to somebody um, who enjoys the cryptid too. Do you know Brian Seach
I know the name.
on Facebook?
Hmm.
Okay, how about Fred Saluga? Do you know
No.
Fred Saluga?
No.
He passed. Okay, Fred and Brian are really, really big in the cryptozoology field. They really are. And I've had Brian on a couple times. So, if you're not doing nothing, reach out to Brian Seek, and he's very, very knowledgeable. And any questions that you need to be answered, he would be the person that you would need to ask. And he's and unless there's anybody else in the chat room that can answer some of these questions for us. But before we went to break, I told you about the Mothman. Tell me what your thing on the Mothman is, and I'll tell you more.
Okay, we had this discussion earlier on my podcast. Okay, when it comes to cryptids, there's lots of umbrellas when it comes to cryptids. Okay, it's like Bigfoot, Dogman, the mountain lions. I can put those under cryptozoology. Okay, and then you've got like Mothman and a few others that I put underneath the paranormal, because to me, I know Mothman is supposed to be like this bird-like thing, or giant moth or whatever, owl, whatever. But to me, with everything that I know on Mothman, I consider it like a harbinger of doom, or, it's like a bad omen. And that to me falls more under the paranormal, and he creeps me out.
He creeps you out. Well, I hope I don't rain on your parade when I tell you this.
Okay.
I hope not. And thankfully, I haven't lost any friends when I say this, but but actually what happened, how the Mothman became, was some city in Ohio, they had some shady Congress people, you know what I mean? and they were dumping radioactive material into a lake. Okay. And so, in order to take people like, what the hell's going on there? Why are they dumping it? Blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. This is proven that they came up and made the Mothman. The government did, or, you know, whoever runs that town of Baha'i. They came up and made the Mothman. Okay. Just to, you know, like intercept everybody and push them the other way, so they never saw what was going on in the hive. So the Mothman was made up.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Because I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
everything I've read, because I know, you know, the silver Brit, whatever, but there's reports out of Germany, there's reports out of Japan. I mean, there's kind of reports, and every time it's happened, it's something bad's happened. Like in Japan, it was when the nuclear power plant blew.
Right.
In Germany, it was when a mine collapsed and stuff. So it's like, that is really cool because, yeah, like I said, the way I've always looked at him, and it kind of creeps me out, is because everything I've seen on it, you know, had shown death omen, you know, bad omen.
Exactly. And also around in that area, when they were dumping, the military was involved with that too. Okay. And they went along with the Mothman theory. You know, well, we're going to talk and put Mothman out there so people don't have to see what the hell we're doing. Okay. Everyone blames the bridge went down in the city, and everyone saw the Mothman sitting on the bridge, and the bridge collapsed. And that was proven that it wasn't the Mothman. Okay. The bridge was old. Okay.
Yeah, the bridge
was old,
just,
and
yeah.
just snapped. You know, but I'm the type of person, and I do have a quote. When I first started investigating the paranormal, I will respect what you believe in, but please respect what I believe in.
Yes,
So
and that's what it's about. It's, you know, it's about respect. I love that.
Yep, exactly. It's all about respect. You know, when people would come at me and say, "Oh, you're full of crap," those pictures and video that you got, or and I'm just like, you weren't there, you dumbasses. You know what I mean? You weren't there.
Exactly.
I gave up. At the beginning, I would show everything that I caught, and I got ripped, and I decided, well, you know what? You don't have to enjoy these. I can enjoy them for myself. And I'm sure you're at that point in your life with your research with the cats. Am I correct?
Yeah, I've been told that that's not what I'm seeing. I've been told I'm an idiot. I've been told I don't know how many countless things. And the way I look at it is, you know what? You're not there. You're not the one talking to these people. You're not the one that's out there researching. You're not the one actually talking to journalists and the state biologists. I'm the one doing it. You know what?
Right.
So you do your thing. I do mine.
Right. So why do you think people like to jump all over our crap? Mine for paranormal investigating, you with the big cats. Why do they have the balls to actually start attacking us?
I think that some people are just bored and they like to fight.
Okay.
And if they can find a way to cause an argument or to, you know, try to push themselves off as as a tough person, you know, big person, you know, I'm right, you're wrong. There's so many people that love to do that. So it's like, I've just gotten to the point that I kind of ignore people.
I love ignoring people. Yeah.
You know,
I
find it, you know, and I'm not a rude person. I don't like to ignore people, but I'm not going to stand there and argue with somebody. It's like, you know, I got a track at one point, and somebody was giving my daughter a hard time when we were at this place and stuff, and because he was drunk, but he was walking over, and I said, yes, I do. I do this stuff. I actually do think that there's something out there that we don't know of. And, you know, I had to try, you're trying to tell me. And I said, you know what? I said, you can stand there and you can argue with me. I can argue with you. I said, I can be an idiot. You can be an idiot. Neither one of us is going to budge. So you know what? I'm done. And I just left it at that.
There you go. And you walked away and you were like, yeah, boy, I'm proud of myself. You grabbed your daughter and probably went and got an ice cream cone after that. And Sam says, preach it, Jen. Gee, preach it. That's the only thing that really irated me the most about people just coming in, okay, and ridiculing us. Look at all the money we put into it. You know what I mean? Into our researches and stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't make money off of this. I mean, I put my
No.
own money in to do my research. You know,
Right.
It's like, I don't need to listen to somebody badmouth me when they don't even know what I'm doing. And I'm not profiting from this. I'm doing it because I love this, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Kara says, sadly, people argue over pretty much everything these days, especially
right.
if they don't understand it. That's the truth. Exactly. And the Skittle operator says, my proof is mine. Get yours. Yeah.
That's right.
Seriously. But here's the killer for me. Some of the teams out there, some of the people spend over $10,000 on equipment to find a ghost. And to me, that's a little ridiculous. I'm old school.
I'm so old school, it's not even funny.
I love being old school. I love it. Just go out there. I use a K2 meter and I use, and that's it. K2 and the camera.
When I do mine, I'll put cameras out, but I don't have the cameras that send the pictures to my phone or anything. I leave my cameras out because it's like, I'm not going to go change out cameras every couple of weeks. I want it left out there, you know, for a couple of months, because the chances of me catching anything, big cat or anything else, is highly unlikely unless it's sitting there for a long period of time. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. And I like to be surprised. I did that one time up in Gettysburg. I set up 4 of my, I call them deer cams. I set them up in 4 different places. And I kept them out there for 10 days, you know, and, you know, because I had to go back home. But, and to me, just putting them out there, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be exciting. And I would catch myself, no, don't go get them yet. Don't get them yet. Don't get them yet. You know, sit on your hands, go take a nap, do something, you know what I mean? And after the 10th day, I went out and got them, went home, and oh my God, the pictures I got, oh, they were sweet. They were sweet. Not too many, maybe 5 out of 4 cameras, but they were decent, you know, and sweet. And that's the way I do it now. I'm 63 years old. I'm getting old. I'm going to be retiring. And I cannot wait, you know, and I can set up 20 cameras somewhere and just prospect gold and sit around campfire and do whatever I want to do. But do I miss investigating? Yeah, I do. I retired in 2022. It was just too much, you know, a lot of traveling, you know, and I needed my sleep. But back to the cryptids here. I don't know. Oh, how are you with UFOs and aliens?
I don't know much about the UFOs or aliens. I have friends that do a lot with it and stuff.
Right.
But I kind of stick with the cryptids.
Well, see, with the Bigfoot, okay, there's a lot of people. And I don't know where Wojo is on this or Richie, but I think Wojo is, but I believe that UFOs are like right there with the Bigfoot, okay? Because think about it, right? So you follow mountain lion tracks, okay? Okay, so you're following them, and all of a sudden they disappear. You know what I mean? They just disappear. where did the cat go? Or, you know, you're following a Bigfoot that has like 8 real big feet, and you know, you're following it, and then all of a sudden, where did the Bigfoot go? You know what I mean? What I do is whenever I see that there is a sighting of Bigfoot, I check and see what the UFO thing was going on at the time. Okay. And usually there's a ton of UFO activity around with the Bigfoot, you know, so I don't know. Natives say Bigfoot fears UFOs, and that's Skitter operator. Okay. Thank you. But, I'm getting, this is fun. I'm fun. I'm so
yeah.
glad
And the thing though, that when you're saying with the tracks is I understand what you're saying. But with the mountain lions, you can, and this is one of the things, because it's like, people always say, well, why isn't, you know, why can't you find them and stuff like that? I've got like articles from even out west, and there was one where the Wyoming Fish and Game's put at the bottom of the sighting thing there that they are extremely hard to track. And what the issue is they can follow the tracks to a certain point and then they do disappear. And it's because they're either in trees or they've leapt somewhere, because they can leap a good, you know, 30 feet if they wanted to. Right. They've got that spring bound, you know, and stuff. And that's why with those animals, you have to use dogs to track them.
Oh, I did not know that. They use dogs to track these cats?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. Mountain lions are that elusive that's why even the scientists that research them, when they go to collar them or train, they use dogs, and they send them, the cats get treed, and then they'll trank them.
Oh, wow. Sammy goes, Richie and Mojo have been having experience with what they call star people while they research Bigfoot. And star people are actually aliens, Sam. Yeah, so, you know, people have different names for aliens. Skitter operator says, one Bigfoot in my yard jumped, one paw or whatever, jumped 30 feet or better. I believe it. The only time I go see mountain cats or something like that is I go on YouTube and I watch them on YouTube. I know it's safe for me, because I know my dumb ass, I would probably be attacked by one, even though they're in a cage. For some reason, I know that's how bad my luck is. I'd be standing outside the cage, and for some reason, that damn mountain lion come out of that cage and attack me. You know, that's
my husband shared a post where it says, you know that you'll be killed when, you know, you and you get a mountain lion when you hear, you know, last words are, here, kitty, kitty.
Speaking of that, does your husband participate in your investigations?
He participates in the Bigfoot ones. When I first did my very first expedition in 2016, he went along, mainly because I didn't know anybody, and I was not, I wanted to do it, but I wanted him to go with me. He did not have, he'll tell you he doesn't believe, or, you know, he's not into the whole thing, but he loves night hiking. He loves camping. He loves just being out in the woods. During that first investigation, though, the second night we were there, him and another gentleman, because we had split up into groups, were in the woods. And there was so much noise and stuff that they thought there was movement, because on the walkie, the other gentleman got on there and says, we've got movement all around us. And you could hear he was kind of freaking out. And then another one of the people went in to go in with him, and the noise stopped. But my husband literally wanted to turn the headlamp off and just go. He wanted to go in the direction that the noise was coming from and find out what the heck was messing with him, because like we're in the middle of nowhere. So he's like, either there's somebody else here or, you know, whatever, but I want to know what's messing with me. And they wouldn't let him do it. But in the audio, when we got it back, you can hear rocks being thrown. They're pinging off of leaves and hitting the trees and stuff. And he had no way to explain it. And he has gone on a couple with me since then. And it's funny, because a lot of the people, like he went with me to Cobble Mountain last year, and that's when he first met Richie and Mojo. I'd known them, but it was the first time I actually got to see them face to face. And we went out in the evening. And Richie went with, Stan went with Richie and Denny. And Richie was expecting, you know, I'll explain stuff to Stan's like just gung-ho, take it. And Richie's like, yes, I love this, you know, because he was just, let's go, let's do this.
Right.
And, you know, He loves doing this stuff, but he will tell you now that he's still like on the fence, but he cannot explain a lot of the stuff that he has had go on when he does these things with me and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Have you experienced anything on these junkers or whatever you call them, expeditions?
No, I mean, like I said, the one that I did with Richie, and we had the rock thrown in the pond. I've come across tree structures. I've found plenty of tracks when I did expeditions. I have not had anything major. I haven't had a sighting or anything like that.
Do you get bummed out that you don't get one?
No, not really, because I tell people are like, oh, you haven't had one. And I'm like, you know what? 98% of the time when you're out doing this stuff, you don't come across anything. Okay. Not a track, not a whoop, nothing. I mean, any animal, even with, with what I do. To me, the 2% of the time, though, when you find a track or you find a structure or you just come across any type of evidence, that right there is awesome to me. And the rest of the time that I'm not doing anything, I'm out in the woods. It's my peace of mind. I love to just be out there because I don't have to deal with anything else that's going on in the world.
That I wish mine's going to a lake and go fishing. Mine's not going out in the woods yet, man. Like I tell Richie and Mojo, I'm like, when I come up here, you all are gonna like be my bodyguard and shit. You know what I mean? It'd be like, y'all carry the guns, and when you tell me to run, and I will. But no, I have really enjoyed this tonight. I have, and we're not done yet. We're almost there. Okay, we're almost there. But is there? I do have one more question to ask you, and then we'll wrap it up. On your when you go out and do your research, what do you do when you actually go out on the research? Can you go step by step before you go out and do your research?
Step by step, first thing I do is I spray all of the clothes, boots, everything that I'm going to be wearing out down with permethrin, which is to help keep ticks off. And then I make sure I have my gear. I have 2 backpacks. I have one that's got like my headlamps, my walkie, my first aid kit, my scopes, anything like that. And then I have another backpack that has my plaster, my tape measures, any tools that I'm going to be using if I come across any tracks or prints. Usually when I'm out, I try to keep the car close enough that I can get back to it if I do come across something, because I only take one, but I can't take 2. I'm just, that's going to be way too much. But I find the area that I work in now, I had scouted out several times before I started using it to see the various animals that are in there. There's turkey, there's deer, there's bobcat, there's a moose that's actually moving around in there now. Different stuff. We've had bear in there. And the only reason I say bear is because I was very cautious then, because my nephew went with me at one point. We were in there because we can hike it. It's a friend of mine's property, but it's like, I want to say I can go from my town that I live in to the next town over. So I could walk from one end of his property to the other, and it would take me into the other town, and it would take me all day to get there. So it's a big area. But when I had my nephew in there, he likes to, when he finds like pine cones or something, he likes to take it. Well, he found a rock that actually a bear had used to kind of, because it had claw marks that went down this thing.
Right.
So he picked it up and took that home, which was funny because he's 5 and he's trying to lug this huge rock that a bear had used. But when I go out, I scope out the area. I always check, and then I kind of break off into different, I don't like to stay on the same beaten path, but I make sure that I mark so I know how to get back out so I don't get lost. I have my compass. I have what I need for emergency stuff, and then I'll have my cameras and everything if I decide I want to set up an area, and then I'll get my camera set up. I will set up what I call my scent traps, which, like I said before, was catnip and stuff. Now Richie thinks it's hilarious, but I use cougar urine now and try to set up like little scratch.
That's not funny. That's legit. That's good.
And the only
That's
reason why
good.
I like to do that is because it was one thing the University of Montreal did, and I got it before I found out that they did it. But I've watched videos where you've had cougars spray an area and bobcats will still check it out, and deer. And so you'll still get a plethora of animals, but I'm hoping that it would bring in another big cat to
Right.
kind of check out the area. So that's why I do that and stuff. And then I kind of leave the area. You know, I'll come back and like do a different route. I'll leave the camera. Like I said, I like to try to leave the camera out and stuff, but I scope out the areas. I just double check for everything. If I come across tracks, I'll cast them, you know, if it's something intriguing. But that's all I do. It's very basic. Like I said, I'm very old school. I don't do anything fancy.
Right.
It's just basic stuff.
I guess when they do the fancy stuff, they probably send drones up in the air, huh?
Yeah. I don't have a drone, so
I don't have a drone either. I wouldn't know how to drive a drone. But what do you think of these Bigfoot TV shows? What's your? I'd like to ask this question.
My take on them is their entertainment purposes only. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's like they give you like what you think is going to be something so intriguing and something and it seems to be you never find out and stuff. And then I don't know. I find it's for ratings. That's just my opinion.
I mean, first time I saw Bigfoot show, they were out there making noises and knocking on trees, and I'm thinking, oh my God, is that what you do in order to attract a Bigfoot? Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't believe in them TV shows anymore. I don't even watch them anymore.
I haven't watched them in a while because to me it was all entertainment and rating purposes. It really had nothing to do with the research.
I think we're the smart ones out of the bunch. You know what I mean? I think we are. You know, I have no doubt about it. And then when I see paranormal investigating doing on YouTube how they go out and when I did it, you know, when I had my group, right, you had fun, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You had fun. You couldn't be so serious. You had to have fun, and that was like my number one rule. You needed to have fun. And I look at these YouTube shows now, and they're so damn serious. I'm like, oh my God. You know, why are you being serious? You know, just don't call out the spirit. You know, it's just like you saying, all right, mountain lion, come and get my ass. Let's go. You know what I mean? Or come on, Bigfoot, you know, call it every name in the book to get a reaction out of it. But no, I am really, really happy you came on the show tonight. Okay.
Well, I thank you for the invite.
Yes. And I hope to have you on. Maybe down the road sometime, you know, we can do a little October thing or whatever. And I would love to hear your experiences with all your investigations because A, I love your enthusiasm. I really do. B, you have a big heart. And you believe that they exist and you pull your heart into it. And to me, I have the utmost respect for you. I really do. I want you to know that. And Sam, she's trying to kiss your butt here. Okay. She said, this was so much fun. It was. Gene, you did so good with all kinds of hearts. We're only messing with you, Sam. We're only messing. But it's that time, everybody. Joe Fox, are you in the house? Okay, it's time to pull the card. And if I pull a mountain lion, or if I pull a lynx, or if I pull a bobcat, all hell's going to. See, you all seeing me shuffle these things, all right? I don't have nothing up my sleeves because I have no sleeves. And if that cat comes up, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. It'd be like crazy. But whenever you're out there, you know, doing your research, Bigfoot or the cats, do you get your spidey, I call them spidey senses? knowing something is there.
I do. I get that. I just don't know what it is. I mean, I haven't had a cat or I haven't seen a cat or a Bigfoot, but I do get senses every now and then where it's like something's not right, something's off. There's something somewhere
Right.
close by.
That's how I am. That's how I know when ghosts are around. They call it my spidey senses.
It's
You
weird
can't tell.
because for me, it's like all of a sudden, like my body starts to feel weird in my stomach, and it's like, oh, okay, something's not right, you know. And
Yeah. Always trust your gut. Always listen to your
and
gut. That's what I
literally
tell
what it is.
everybody. Yep.
Yeah.
Listen to your gut. Do not put your brain in there because your brain will just have you going all over the place. All right, Joe Fox, are you in there, my friend? All right. You better be there. Get ready. All right. So I shuffled them. Nothing up my sleeves. I have no sleeves. I'm going to cut them. I'll show you cut them. Okay. And the card that I'm picking out today is the snake. The snake. Okay, Joe, did you get that? Yeah, he should be, unless he fell asleep. But I got my trusty book here, just in case he's not the snake. I always like to look this up. Oh, okay, page 61. Usually by the time I find it, Joe has it up. Okay, let's go back. Okay. Come on. Snake. It's called, the snake is transmutation. Okay. And the medicine teaches you on a personal level that you are a universal being through accepting all aspects of your life. You can bring about the transmutation of the fire medicine, this fire energy, when functioning on the material plane, creates passion, desire, procreation, and physical vitality. On the emotional plane, it becomes ambition, creation, resolution, and dreams. Okay. On the emotional plane, that when this snake energy reaches the spiritual plane, it becomes wisdom, understanding, wholeness, and the connection to the Great Spirit. If you have chosen this symbol, there is need within you to transmute some thought, action, or desire so the wholeness may be achieved. This is heavy magic, but remember, magic is no more than a change in consciousness. Become the magician or the enchantress. I could see you being that. Transmute the energy and accept the power of fire. But what I see in a snake, okay, that's this meaning, right? It's this meaning. My meaning when I see the snake, a snake shreds its skin, okay? And when that snake sheds the skin, that means you're shedding your skin, which means the old self is going away and a brand new gene is coming out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. You know, all that, a lot of mumbo jumbo in that book. But to me, it's transmutation where your old skin leaves, your old body leaves, and something brand new comes out, you know. But good luck in your investigatings. Okay. I pray and I hope that you get a mountain lion. You know, you have to tell me if you get one. Okay. Yeah. And so we can bring it on the show. If you have to put it in a cage, you know. And Kevin says, cool, Sean, got the snake too. But I do appreciate you. How can people get a hold of you?
They can reach me through Facebook, Messenger. I'm in Instagram. I've got the Eastern Ghost Cats page on Facebook along with the Ghost Cats and Cryptids. You can email me. It's Tewksbury at gmail.com. If you want to discuss any sightings or anything, I love discussing this topic. I will talk to anybody about it. My thing is, you know, keep it respectful.
Right. Okay. And I know you have a podcast, Would you like to share that with people?
Yeah, that's the Ghost Cats and Cryptids podcast on the Banter with Richie B
Okay.
podcast network.
Okay, awesome.
And it's every Sunday at 6.
Every Sunday. Well, that's good. When I saw that today, I'm thinking, oh my God, she's got a podcast.
Oh yeah, that's why I was thinking first before I respond. I'm like, I have my I've got plenty of time. So, and then
Okay.
somebody's like, you're doing both, and it's like, yeah, I'm doing both.
I've done them many a times. Again, thank you, Jean. Children,
Thank
if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you have no parents and if you have no children, find somebody, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. And on that note, good night, everybody. Thank you, Jean. And remember, protect the children. Good night.